The CEO of Boeing once said, "We hire for hard skills, but we fire for soft skills." When you leave the career program here at Gulf Coast Community College, we want you to not only be able to weld, but also to be able to have the soft skills, the essential skills that will help you to keep your job once you land it. Essential skills include things like showing up to work every day and on time. I have worked as a welder at Ingalls for 18 years, and I'm here to tell you that it doesn't matter how great you are as a welder, if you do not show up every day and show up to work on time, it will get you fired. Today, I want to talk to you about how the career programs at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College are going to teach you how to show up every day on time. First, I want to talk to you about showing up to work every day. Gulf Coast Community College will prepare you for the workforce because in the workforce, they will have a strict attendance policy. We at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College have a strict attendance policy as well. When you go into the working world, you will likely scan in to work every day. When you come into class here, we have an attendance reader where you will use your Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College ID to scan in every day on time. Now, this will simulate what it's like to work in the real world. Believe me, I've been doing it for 18 years. The expectations for attendance in our program are very similar to what you would experience in the working world. We expect that you show up 91% of the time. We would love for you to be here 100% of the time, but if you do not meet the required 91%, it's going to be very difficult for us to be able to recommend you to the real world because that's what they expect. When you work out in the real world, you are part of a team. And when a team member does not show up, we know that a team is only as good as its weakest link. In the classroom world, if you don't show up, well, it's tough. Well, you miss whatever happened that day. But in the working world, if you don't show up, it means that your coworker has to stay over, or it means that another coworker will have to come in to cover your shift. And that will not look good on you with your coworker, and it will not look great on you or your supervisor. Next, I want to talk to you about showing up to work on time. In the working world, you will be expected to show up on time, and that means not 1 second late, 1 minute late. It's a big deal in the working world, and I'm here to tell you that. Now, it's not enough just to show up to work every day. You need to show up when you are assigned to show up. Expectations for promptness in this class are that you show up on time 95% of the class meetings that you attend. 95%, that leaves very little room for error. But it's like this in the working world. I was talking to an industry friend just the other day, and he said that when they hire a new employee in industry, that they have a 90-day probationary period. And they have very little leeway for being late or absent during those 90 days. It's a question in most industries that if you miss or if you're late more than a very small number of times during probationary period, you will not advance beyond the first 90 days. You will lose your job. So I want to remind you that at Gulf Coast Community College, we have these same exact standards. 95% of the classes you attend, you will show up and you will scan in all the time. Today, we have talked about the expectations for promptness and attendance, not only in the career program here at Gulf Coast Community College, but also what is expected of you in the real world. Remember, here in our program, you are expected to be in attendance 91% of the time and on time for 95% of the classes that you attend. Now remember, I've been out in the real world. I've had the jobs that you seek to gain. And you need to remember always what the CEO of Boeing told us. We hire for hard skills, but we fire for soft skills.
My name is James Harris, and I'm majored in 3D design modeling, and I plan on getting a job as a designer when I complete the course.
Earlier in class, your career program instructor talked to you about the requirements for attendance and for promptness in this class. Attending 91% of all class meetings and being on time for 95% of those meetings. Now, I am here to talk to you about a program that we're using here at Gulf Coast Community College. It's called Embracing Essential Skills. So we will be teaching not only the essential skills of promptness and attendance, but we will be talking about other essential skills that employers here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast are requiring of their employees. Hopefully, in the future, that will include you. Why essential skills, and why these particular essential skills? Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College sent out a survey asking our top employers on the Gulf Coast, what skills do you wish that your employees had when they arrived to you? And they reported overwhelmingly punctuality and attendance, followed by communication skills, including listening and speaking. Let's talk about these a little bit more. These employers, the employers on the screen behind me, some of our top employers on the Gulf Coast are the very companies who are asking for students who can show up to work on time, and communicate well when they get there. The expectations, therefore, in our program are to produce the type of employees that our top employers want. And what do they want? People who can show up on time, and communicate well when they arrive by active listening and speaking effectively. So let's talk a little bit more about each of those. Let's take a closer look at these essential skills that we're trying to teach at Gulf Coast Community College, those same essential skills that will be expected of you in the workforce. Attendance, promptness, active listening, and effective speaking. I'd like to share with you why we chose these particular skills. When you're looking at attendance and promptness, there's a report for professionalism in the workplace that said the best way to get dismissed from a job is to have poor attendance and to show up late. When speaking of active listening, maybe you've heard of a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. The 5th habit is seek first to understand and then be understood. Stephen Covey, the author of that book, said that people are often guilty of listening with the intent to respond rather than listening to understand. So he points out that active listening is lacking. Also, many educators and many people from the workplace say that communication, speaking to coworkers and to supervisors is lacking. When it comes to desired skills in the workplace, there is no doubt that communication is at the top of the list. Forbes, Business Week, Wall Street Journal, New York Post, USA Today, you can go to any source and see that the one essential skill that people desire in the workplace is communication. While this generation is very tech savvy, it's becoming clear from the experts in the work field that communication is lacking. Before we wrap up our discussion of our program, Embracing Essential Skills, I would like to play a game to help you to remember the skills that we are trying to embrace. The game will involve looking at our logo, But first, let's look at some other well-known logos. This is the Toyota logo. While you're in groups of about 3 or 4 people, I want you to take a close look at this logo and see if you can find any hidden meaning or messages within the logo. After you've had time to think about all of this, have you noticed any hidden messages or images? If you look closely at the Toyota logo, you will be able to find every letter of the word Toyota within the logo. Did you know that? Let's look at another logo. FedEx. FedEx is a very well-known logo. Take a moment to look very closely at the logo. Do you see any hidden symbols? Do you see any hidden meaning or messages? Those of you who have seen this exercise online may have noticed the arrow that's formed between the E and the X. The arrow represents the meaning of speed and precision in the FedEx world. Here's another popular logo, Levi's jeans. Have you ever noticed that the bottom of the logo matches the shape of the pocket on a pair of Levi's jeans? I never knew that until I looked up this exercise. Finally, something you guys may be familiar with, the Beats earphones that are so popular and expensive, mind you. Do you see any hidden meanings in that logo? Not only is it a bee, but if you draw a face on the left side of this logo, you will see that the bee also forms an earphone for the Beats. So after looking at the Toyota, FedEx, Levi's, and Beats logos, let's take a look at the logo for our quality enhancement plan: attendance, listening, and speaking. In your groups, let's take a look and see if we can find any hidden meaning, any suggestions from the graphics in the logo that will make them more memorable to you and to anyone who sees it. In the last class where I did this exercise, people were pretty quick to equate this symbol, the blue circle, where it says attend. They were quick to point out that this circle, what is this circle? Is it a punch out? What is it? This circle is in the place where a person's eye would be. Eye. In order to see something, you have to be there, right? In order to see something, you have to be there. You have to attend. So attendance, to be able to see what's going on here in class, you have to be in attendance. If you look at the second circle, if you look at the green circle, the wording is obvious enough. It's listen. But did you also notice that the white circle, the white cutout, some people think it is on the same place that your ear would be? Ear, listen, hear. So of course, you probably already figured out what the last thing means. The circle, the white circle in the speak portion of the logo is over the portion of your mouth. Your mouth. So, in order to remember the essential skills taught in our QEP, it's very easy. What essential skills do we want our students to have when they hit the workplace? We want them to be in attendance so they can see what's going on. Another hidden meaning in there is we're watching you. We're watching you. Your future employers will be watching you. Listen and speak. So last time, what are the essential skills that employers on the Mississippi Gulf Coast want most? The ones that we're trying to teach you before you leave this program, they are attend, listen, and speak. I hope that you enjoyed the logo exercise, which was designed to help you to remember the 3 essential skills that we aim to teach at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. I have one last exercise for you. I call this exercise Great News from Work. A few minutes ago, we heard all of you stand up and talk about who you are, why you're in this program, and what you hope to do with your education when you leave Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. Now, I want to take you through a scenario. Imagine that you just finished your 90-day probationary period at the place of work of your choice. Now, at the end of that 90 days, you have a meeting with your supervisor, and he gives you a glowing evaluation. Not only did you get a glowing evaluation, but you now can expect to be employed here beyond the 90-day probationary period, and you also got a 50-cent per hour raise. This is great news. So, if you're like me, when you have great news, you can't wait to get home and tell someone about that great news. Think about who would that be for you. Would it be a parent? Would it be a friend? Would it be your significant other? For me, it would be my wife. When I have great news when I come home from work, I cannot wait to share it with her. And so, as soon as I walk into the house, I expect that we sit down and have a conversation and I tell her about my great news, right? Wouldn't you want to do that? So, let's go through this scenario. You come home with your great news and your significant other is busy. They're busy doing something else. In my case, the last time I had great news, my wife was busy herself. She was busy washing dishes. She had been at work all day just like me, but she came home and the dishes were a mess. So she's turned and she is washing the dishes. So when I came home, honey, I have some great news. Well, if I am to feel like she is really, really listening to me, if she's really listening to my great news, what are some of the nonverbal behaviors that she would employ if she were really, really listening? So she's washing dishes, right? Honey, I have some great news for you. Yes, go ahead. Have you had this happen before? What would you need for your significant other to do in order to feel like they were really listening to you? That's right. That's right, Bob. You would want her to look at you, right? So she's washing dishes. Now she's looking at you. What? No, you're right. You're right, Sarah. You wouldn't want her only to look at you. You would want her to turn towards you as well. So now I'm looking at you and I'm turning towards you. What else? You want me to change the expression on my face? Great, okay. So now I'm changing the expression on my face. Hey, but Bob reminded us that the water's still on, right? You want me to turn the water off too? Yeah, I'll turn the water off. The water's now off. Okay, so what else do you need now? You want to share your day? Go ahead and tell me now. I'm looking at you. I've changed my facial expression. My body is facing you. The water is now off. Is there anything else? Is there anything else that I need to do in order to make you happy and listen to your day? You say my posture communicates that I'm not really interested in what you have to say. You see how this goes? You guys intuitively know everything that I wish to teach you about active listening. If someone is listening to you, they tell you that they're listening by their nonverbal behaviors. What will they do? They will make eye contact. Their facial expressions will show that they have a keen interest in what you're saying, right? Their gestures, their body movement, their posture, and even the fact that they were able to mitigate all distractions, turn the water off, put your work away, show the speaker that you are really, really listening. You guys intuitively knew how to tell if someone was really, really listening. And next time that I come and talk to you guys, we'll build on this a little bit further. Your instructor and I have spent a great deal of time planning activities that will help you to embrace the 3 essential skills: attendance, punctuality, listening, and speaking. I'll give you an overview of some of the activities that we will be taking on this semester. First, we will have other interactive classroom lessons just like the one that we had today. Next, we will do some virtual training in a program called S2S, where you will learn how to pick up on good nonverbal communication while also learning the skills needed for a job interview using those essential skills. We will also do some competitive classroom activities that will help you to embrace the essential skills. We will also, do a mock job interview. You will have an opportunity to practice the one communication event that will help you to land the job that you want. A job interview. We will arrange a mock job interview between you and a learning lab instructor. A one-on-one interview that will help you down the road. And finally, at the end of the semester, I will come back and I will test you to make sure that you have mastered all 3 of these essential skills: attendance and punctuality, listening, and speaking. Don't forget to take your quiz on Canvas to show that you are already embracing these essential skills. I look forward to working with you this semester. Thank you.